directed against Palestinians, and we did not hear much from the government. And all of a sudden, when it's directed against IDF troops and IDF facilities, we start to hear a lot of condemnation from this government. Should there have been much stronger condemnation from the government beforehand when Palestinians were being attacked? And should the Israeli police and military have acted more strongly so we didn't reach this point? Thank you.
For the second question, any kind of violence by civilians is not allowed. The task, but self-defense in certain circumstances, but this is it. The task of the IDF and the security forces is to take care for the security, and no one should act independently and regardless to the law. And it doesn't matter if the objective is attacking other civilians, other Israeli civilians, Palestinian civilians, soldiers of the IDF. It is all of these cases should be treated by our legal system in the most serious way. With regard to the first question, our view is that a Palestinian state will threaten the security of the state of Israel. And therefore, we must learn the lessons from what happened here during the last 3 decades. And therefore, I think that today, I know what is the EU position on the matter, including Austria, but we are those who are responsible for the security of our nation, and this is not something that we can do and be still committed to the security of our state, from my point of view. So if it is conditional, I don't think it is constructive. Any process with the Palestinians, just to make it clear, because what our expectations are. Any process should be based on the radicalization of the Palestinian society, addressing the core issues that can afford a reliable peace process, which are abandon the path of terror, abandon this ethos, which is the common ethos of, unfortunately, of the Palestinian society, all of it. Of course, part of it is stopping payments for terrorist families, according to the crime they did. This is something unbearable. This is something that they hadn't done until this day. I'm talking about the PA. Secondly, incitement. You cannot go for a reliable peace process while you poison the minds of the new generation in schools, kindergartens, textbooks, mosques, media. This must be stopped. So the conditions for peace, for real peace, are substantial. And when the Palestinian society, political system will start to deal with these basic questions, we will know that maybe we have a partner, but until now it's not the case, unfortunately.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Thank you. David Kriegleder, Austrian Public Broadcasting. Minister Saar, after October 7th, there was a huge wave of solidarity in Europe, especially in friendly countries such as Germany and Austria, not just among politicians, but also within the population. As the war in Gaza has dragged on, there's been some form of estrangement. The criticism is rising. And I'm wondering, how hard is it for you these days to explain and defend the Israeli conduct of the war to your European partners? And if I may, a related question to Minister Meinl-Reisinger, you've repeatedly said that the situation in Gaza is unbearable. Do you have the feeling that the concerns you're voicing are met by open ears by your Israeli counterpart? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. First of all, we are aware to this sentiment in wide segments of European public opinion. We believe we are right. We are sure that the one which is responsible for the suffering of both people, Palestinian and Israeli, is solely Hamas. Not only because they initiate the war on October 7 with this barbaric attack, but also because until now they refuse to release the hostages and they refuse to lay down their arms. So this is the truth we are presenting. We are not undermining concerns with regard to civilian population needs. We are dealing with that in very hard conditions, and not everyone that's criticized from the distance understand what the circumstances on Gaza Strip are, how Hamas is using the aid as a fuel to its war machine. And these are important facts, because finally we want to target the aid for the people themselves, but we don't want to empower the organization that led this population for these poor conditions. And this is a very difficult and complicated effort, and we would like our friends in the world as a whole, and in Europe specifically, to help us to think together, to cooperate. Tomorrow we will begin a dialogue with the EU, which I agreed with High Rep Kaya Kallas, that will take place here in Israel. And in this dialogue we will, of course, present our efforts, our problems in this efforts, and also we will look together for new ideas, new thoughts, cooperation, in order to be more successful with that. But one must understand it is a very complicated situation, and this is the result. By the way, in Lebanon, it was also a result of the fact that the terror organization took over the state. In Gaza Strip, it's not a terror organization, it's a terror state, a terror organization that took over a territory, enslaved the population for its aspiration and crazy ideology. And therefore, this phenomenon, by the way, the Western world went out to uproot this phenomenon in the war against ISIS, not very far away from here, when they established their caliphate. Eventually, to end the suffering of the people from all sides, is to uproot this tyranny in Gaza Strip.
Thank you for your question. Well, let me say something about like my personality maybe. Because of course we have had a very lively discussion on the situation in Gaza, on the concerns regarding the humanitarian situation, and of course also the review of Article 2 and the question about further measures taken by the European Union. And it was, I'm not in favor of a suspension of the association agreement, to be clear on that. Why? Because I think it's important to stay in dialogue. More so, it is not helping the people in Gaza right now. So the question that I was asking myself is, what can I do to help the people suffering in Gaza? So I made the decision to not be only concerned in Vienna and Brussels, but to go here, to come here, and to have a conversation as a friend, but also a frank conversation about our concerns. That's also the reason why I started my travel in Cyprus, and then I went on to Egypt and to Jordan, because the question is there, how to effectively organize the humanitarian aid, also being distributed according to the principles we want them to be distributed, by at the same time recognizing the security interests of Israel. This is something that I'm concerned about, how to do it, and what can be done, and who are the partners there. But this is the way I think politics should be done. Just not just sit somewhere and talking about being concerned, but to go here, have a frank conversation, and think about together as friends how to solve the situation.
Thank you. We'll take two more. Yes, please.
Fabian Sommerwiller from the Austrian daily Der Standard. The question is also related to the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza. We've heard repeatedly that you were unhappy with the former situation with Hamas using humanitarian food basically to use it against as a weapon. Also, we've heard in the past few months very often that many of your Western partners are unhappy with the situation right now with the GHF. So if both sides can't agree on either one side the way the food and the humanitarian aid is distributed, why can't we think of a third option, and what could such a third option look like?
We are not excluding thinking about a third option. We are looking at the objective. The objective is, I repeat again, meet the needs of the people without empowering Hamas. Whatever path is possible to achieve this objective, we will support.
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Saar. Minister Saar, Nathan Odenheimer here from the New York Times. Thank you very much for holding this presser. Also about the GHF, I think few little questions. Israeli officials are saying that the military prosecutor is considering an inquiry or investigation into unlawful shooting of Palestinians, not in the sites, not in the distribution sites, but around them. Are you worried that the rules of engagement in Gaza in general and around those distribution sites violate the international law, and do you support an independent military inquiry into it? And then a second question is Israel, how much funds is Israel moving towards the GHF, if it's security or funding the aid itself? There are reports that it's supposed to invest another several $1 million into it. So I was wondering how much exactly and what you think of it. And for you, Minister of Foreign Affairs, is Austria considering also donating to GHF and for distributing aid in Gaza through this system at the moment? And will it support an EU resolution to do it? Thank you.
Thank you. As you know, the military prosecutor is independent, and you should ask her about the case. I simply don't know. Also, with regard to your second question, I cannot give you the figure. Maybe the finance minister can give you the figure. I cannot do that. I don't know.
I can give you a figure what Austria did after October 7, 2023. More than our humanitarian aid amounted for over more than 60 million euros regarding the situation in Gaza. And how did we do it? With what partners did we work together with? Those partners who are reliable, that are also committed to the principles. We are using taxpayers' money here, so we want to see it used properly. That means not getting in the hands of Hamas, but also used in a way that is done according to the principles of the United Nations and other organizations. Just recently, I think on Wednesday, the government took a decision to additionally have 3 million euros of humanitarian aid. And we do this via the International Committee of the Red Cross, because this is such a reliable partner, and the GHF is not.
Thank you. This presser is now over. Thank you.